What last request accidentally saved your life? My execution was scheduled for 9 p.m. At 8:12, I was still alive because of a broken music box. That sounds ridiculous. But 3 months earlier, when the prison asked what I wanted for my final request, I didn't ask for steak. I didn't ask for my family. I asked for my mother's old music box. It was a tiny wooden thing she'd kept on her dresser when I was growing up. The lid was cracked. One of the little ballerinas inside had lost an arm, and the song it played always stopped halfway through because the spring was broken. I hadn't heard it in 14 years. The officer reading my request stared at the form. You want a broken music box? Yes, that's your final request? I nodded. It has to be that one. He looked confused. Why? Because my mother used to wind it whenever she was scared. He didn't ask anything else. 2 days before my execution, my sister brought it to the prison. Security inspected it. They opened the bottom, checked the gears, ran a metal detector over every inch. Then a guard tried to wind it. Nothing happened. He shook it. Nothing. He tapped the side. Still nothing. It's broken, he said. I know. He looked at me. Then why did you ask for it? Because I don't want it fixed. He frowned. My mother used to stop the song before it finished. Why? I swallowed. Because she always said the last note reminded her that everything ends. The guard didn't know what to say, so he handed it back. That night, I wound the music box for the first time in 14 years. It played for exactly 23 seconds, then stopped, just like I remembered. The next morning, my lawyer came to see me. She looked exhausted. I asked if there was any news. She shook her head. No, everyone had stopped saying maybe. The appeal was dead. The evidence was overwhelming. A woman had been murdered. I had been convicted, and the only person who still believed me was my sister. Then she said something strange. Did you tell anyone about the music box? I said no. She looked relieved. Then she left. I didn't understand why. Until that afternoon. A guard came running to my cell. Your sister is here again. She was crying. Not normal crying. The kind where someone can't catch their breath. She put her hands against the glass. Where did you get that music box? I told her. It belonged to Mom. She shook her head. No. What? That wasn't Mom's. I stared at her. She pulled out her phone. I found an old photo. She showed me a picture from our childhood. My mother was standing beside the dresser, and behind her was the music box. But it looked different. The ballerina wasn't missing an arm. The lid wasn't cracked. And there was something engraved underneath it. A name. Not my mother's. My sister whispered. Mom stole it. I felt confused. From who? She didn't know. But she started searching. Old photographs. Old storage records. Everything. Then she found something. The music box had been purchased at an estate auction 21 years earlier. The previous owner's name was in the records. My sister searched the name and froze. Because that woman had a son. And that son was the man who had testified against me at my trial. The detective who said he'd seen me near the murder scene. The detective whose testimony put me on death row. My sister called my lawyer. Within an hour, they were digging through the old case files. And they found something nobody had noticed. The detective's mother had owned the exact same music box. And she'd reported it stolen years before. My lawyer demanded the original police evidence photographs. There it was. The music box. In the detective's mother's house. But there was something else in that photograph. A tiny scratch underneath the lid. The same scratch on the box sitting in my prison cell. The detective had lied. He hadn't merely known about the murder. He'd been connected to the victim. And suddenly, the evidence against me started falling apart. At 6:40 p.m., my execution was still scheduled for 9. At 7:15, my lawyer filed an emergency motion. At 7:48, the judge refused it. My sister collapsed. Then, at 8:12, someone finally noticed the photograph. The prosecutor had been comparing the evidence photos with the old auction records. And there was no way around it. The music box had been in police custody before the murder supposedly happened. The detective had planted it. The judge ordered an immediate stay. 8:27. The prison warden came into my cell. He looked at the music box, then at me. Do you realize what you just found? I shook my head. He said, your mother's music box didn't save your life. He paused. Her secret did. 4 months later, I was released. The detective was arrested. The conviction was overturned. And my sister gave me the music box. It still only plays for 23 seconds. I could have it repaired now, but I never will, because every time it stops, I remember something. My mother thought the song needed to end. She never knew the broken part of it would someday expose a lie that almost killed her daughter. And that's why I keep it exactly the way I found it. Broken. Because sometimes the thing you think is useless is the one thing that can prove